Signs of life at a building that has long stood empty and dark, the former Canadian embassy in Tehran. The new owner is giving it a makeover, happy to show us around, pointing out the last remaining maple leaf on the building.
We have one. You can see. Yeah, we have one. We kept that one as the heritage of those days.
Ottawa cut diplomatic ties with Iran in 2012, citing concerns about Iran's nuclear program and calling it a threat to international peace and security. Even though these premises are no longer available, Rasul Nomovari would like Canada to reopen an embassy in Iran.
Strongly, hopefully, that the Canada government return and they open the doors for the Iranian families that they want to visit their families.
Nomovari asks if Iran and America can talk about talking, a nod to renewed efforts for a nuclear deal, then why not Canada?
What we believe is that our doors is open to the Europeans, Americans, Canadians to come visit. We very welcome them. We very welcome you as well.
A longing for an end to Iran's isolation on the world stage is easy to find in Tehran, especially in the markets, where ordinary people feel the effects of decades of international sanctions hitting their wallets. Mohammed is a former engineer.
People are suffering because of the prices are hiking and income is not following the prices.
He believes a deal trading Iran's nuclear ambitions for sanctions relief is possible.
Peace is the one what we're looking for, and I think it will happen.
It's a view shared by analysts who say hits to Iran's regional allies over the past year have left it vulnerable, more in need of an agreement than ever in the face of U.S. and Israeli military threats. But it's also something those fighting for democratic change in Iran worry about, the possibility that improved relations with the West, however slight, could prolong the life of the regime rather than weaken or reform it. Khosrow Malik is one of them, a man whose life is drenched in a loss that fuels his determination to speak out, even though he's been warned not to.
We are people whose loved ones left this world in the most distressing way possible.
Malik's daughter Mariam was en route from Tehran back to studies in Canada 5 years ago now, when 2 Iranian missiles shot down passenger flight PS752. All 176 people on board were killed, including 55 Canadian citizens and 30 permanent residents. Iran denied responsibility at first before blaming human error. Malik believes the plane was either targeted or knowingly used as a shield against any possible American retaliation after Iranian attacks on U.S. troops in Iraq. The victims' families in Iran, he says, are regularly harassed.
I get a phone call and I'm told that I mustn't speak. Whenever we hold our anniversary ceremonies, we find ourselves surrounded by security forces.
Canada has sought to hold Iran accountable at the International Court of Justice. Malik also wants it to back claims at the International Criminal Court. He says restoring diplomatic ties with Iran would change nothing.
Have the countries that have maintained ties with Iran during this time brought any benefit to our people?
That authorities here are extremely sensitive about the subject is in no doubt. We requested permission to visit the site where Flight PS752 came down, accompanied by an Iranian official. Instead, we were discouraged from talking to any Iranian official about it. We did, of course, at a Foreign Ministry press conference, along with a query about Iran's opinion on renewing ties with Canada.
If you are interested in that, what would Iran be prepared to do to encourage that direction?
So we are ready for talks. And you said, what should Iran do? I think it's for Canada to decide what course of action they want to take, because I think the first step they have to take is to unravel the many sanctions and restraints that they have imposed on themselves and on our bilateral relations.
Later, spokesman Ismail Baqai denied Iran blocked investigations into Flight PS752, saying active diplomatic relations would have helped.
That would give the opportunity to both countries to talk together instead of resorting to other means of settlement of this issue.
That's of little comfort to those still mourning the loss of their loved ones, not just in Iran, but in Canada and beyond. Hosro Malik says there will be no justice for the dead or peace for the living without a fundamental overhaul of Iran's political system.
And not only were they deprived of their right to life, but we, the bereaved, those left behind, have also been denied our right to live. We can never be happy again.
We asked Global Affairs Canada for their response to Iran saying they're ready for talks with Canada. They basically just reiterated the current state of affairs between the two countries.
That's interesting. Margaret, when I look at your reporting, especially in a place like Iran where it's really tough, I keep wondering about the stories behind the stories. Can you give us a sense of what you're up against reporting in Iran?
Yeah, there are a few things. You know, starting with you have to work with a government-approved translator or fixer. You have to have your itinerary approved. So you can count on that, you know, that you're being monitored in some fashion. You can also find yourself being threatened with deportation if you are asking questions that the authorities don't like. We had someone suggest that that might happen to us. But the biggest concern is really keeping the people that you're talking to safe. You know, they are going to be aware that you're probably being monitored. And Iran is a country where, you know, government critics can very, very easily find themselves in jail or worse. And that's really one of the biggest things you have to think about when you're reporting there.
Absolutely. All right, Margaret Evans back in London tonight. Thanks, Margaret.